crack. Tom and Jack having a crack.
Welcome to Tom and Jack having the crack. Every week we sit down with another comic, have some crack. This week we're with the lovely Gemma Louisianna.
Hi.
Hey mate, how you doing?
I'm buzzing. How
Yeah?
are you?
Yeah, grand, really good. Obviously we're missing Jack this week.
Oh, which is sad.
Very, very sad. So Jack has gone to Mexico
Yeah.
with his lovely girlfriend, and he's gone to the place where El Chapo, the most famous Mexican drug dealer of all time.
Right, so is he part of the cartel then? Is that why?
Jack's almost certainly part of the cartel. Yeah, 100%. I would imagine, if not a ringleader. But his son, El Chapo's son, got arrested this week, and Jack's gone to the same place where his son got arrested.
Sounds
So
a little bit fishy for me.
yeah. So either Jack is like the FBI's best drug enforcement agent,
Or we're not getting him back.
or we're not getting him back. Or he's coming back with 25 minutes of new material.
Yeah, or coming back with 200 grand. We don't know.
Yeah. Either way, we'll see.
Either way.
We'll see in a couple of weeks, buddy. We'll see in a couple of weeks. But we got loads to talk about. So you had a really interesting life experience.
A really interesting life experience.
Yeah. Do you maybe just want to tell us a little bit about how it happened, what it felt like, highlights, lowlights?
Yeah, so I wound up on the latest series of Celebs Go Dating last year, which it was really random, to be honest. I was on my way getting ready to go to the Edinburgh Fringe. And I get an Instagram message from like casting director being like, oh, would you be interested in doing this thing? And I had a bit of a chat with them, like, I'm not actually sure this is really going to work out. And then I managed to find a few bits of time whilst I was in Edinburgh to come and do it, and just thought, you know what? What's the harm?
So you were coming down from Edinburgh back to London to film?
So I kind of went from Edinburgh to London, back to Edinburgh a few times, whilst dating a stranger / celebrity. I mean, he was just a stranger to me. I didn't know who he was either.
Yeah.
So, it was a bit of a random experience, but it was a blind date as well. So I just thought, what could go wrong? Apparently a lot of things, but it ended up being fun.
So tell me from us, you got the name from the casting director.
Yeah.
That's literally it. There's no more vetting, no more.
Oh, no, there's quite a lot of vetting that you have to go through.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. So, gosh, they go through.
Because there's loads of aspiring comics out there be like, how do I get on telly?
Oh my god.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I'm a bit of a nutter and I'm on edge.
Yeah.
Through it all, so so you go through quite a lot. You speak to a casting director on the phone, then you go through some like Skype interviews with them, have to record a really awkward selfie video, send that in.
What did the selfie video say?
Oh god, I had to answer questions just like, what's my ideal type, what am I looking for? Spoiler alert, it wasn't Gary. But they put me with him anyway.
I'd love if that was part of your video before you knew it was Gary Lucy.
Imagine.
Just not Gary Lucy.
I was describing everything that wasn't Gary Lucy in my video, but they thought it would work. So here we go. And then they put you through like psychiatrics, so you have to speak to like a shrink.
That's what I was wondering.
They really do.
So how was that? What did they ask you?
Well, they delve into just like your mental health and like your childhood and any traumas you've been through, and it's quite deep, but they're quite good with it. So once you've gone through all of that, you literally have access to a therapist. Well, I mean, I could have access to it now if I wanted to call up and be like, I need to talk to someone. So like I haven't, but it's free therapy. Whenever you want, right?
That's a reason for most comics to go on the show.
Yeah, exactly, to do it.
Yeah, most comics are in bad need of some.
Exactly, free therapy. Do it. Sign up to Celebs Go Dating.
Yeah. So what was the most invasive level of questioning they were getting to with the
psychiatric stuff? I guess just like things like were your parents still together when you were younger? Like, how did you feel about certain things as a kid? Were you bullied as a kid? I was bullied as a kid.
Yeah.
But I'm like, well, that's why I'm a comedian. Duh. Like, hello.
I thought they were gonna be like, show me your Pornhub history for the last couple of months.
Oh my God,
Let's just see if we can. Yeah.
No, they have to get in touch with your doctor.
Really?
Records so much.
And you, have you done therapy before?
Like a couple of years ago, but I felt like the therapist judged me, so I never went back.
I've heard that from a few people. If you have like a judgy, either judgy or creepy, they're sort of the two.
Definitely judgy.
Yeah.
Definitely like divorce woman was not particularly happy with the kind of information that I was giving her, and giving me dagger eyes, and I'm like, it's not what I came here for. But...
Wow. I felt really lucky. The guy, I got a really sweet Australian guy.
Oh, but that's kind of what you want.
Yeah.
The accent just puts you at ease as well.
It does. He was very calm.
You open up to someone like that.
100%. Also, he didn't He wasn't one of these people who's like, everything's your mum's fault.
Yeah.
You don't have any responsibility. He was pretty tough. So
Well, you kind of need that, right?
I do.
Yeah.
I wasn't looking for somebody to tell me like they're there. Like
No,
I was looking for some.
no.
I wanted to figure some shit out.
Yeah.
And he was great. And when I said I think I'm done, he was like, I think so too. I think so. I think so too. I think so too.
Love that.
Good
What
on you,
beautiful
mate.
ending.
Yeah. Yeah, it was really nice. It was the best relationship I've been in.
And that's why you didn't end up on Celebs Go Dating, because you're now cured.
Yeah, exactly. I don't need. I mean, Gary,
Yeah.
Gary, if you're listening, I will date you. But so you go through the psychiatric.
Yeah.
Well done. And then what was the next phase? What happened then?
It's very last minute.
Right.
So you never quite, they'll give you like a range of dates of when to keep yourself free. Mine, literally, I'd got the train to Edinburgh, like no later than like 6 hours. They were like, right, okay, we need to put you on a train to go back to London. Now, stupidly, but obviously, because I am a comic, the first night of Edinburgh, I was doing karaoke till 5 a.m. Right? I was doing karaoke till 5 a.m, singing some 41, absolute top of my lungs, hungover as hell, then have to get the train, like literally the morning after, to go and film a blind date. Celebs Go Dating. So it was savage. Like I felt so ill that day.
Yeah.
And they were just like, "Are you okay?" And I'm just like, I was doing karaoke
Yeah.
till 5.
Yeah.
And I've been on a diet of Jaeger bombs for the past 24 hours. So yeah, great.
Tip top.
Yeah, perfect way to start off a date, right?
So did Gary clock that when you met him?
No, he didn't actually.
Okay.
It was only towards the end of the date, actually, when we'd both said yes to seeing each other again, and when they did this like curtain reveal, because it was a blind date, right? So I couldn't see him for the date until we decide yes or no, and then they show us the person. And it was just before then that I started feeling really ill. So I must have looked extra disappointed when that curtain was revealed, and I felt so bad. I remember saying to production, like, "Oh, please tell him that like it like it's not him," and I'm not like really disappointed, even though I was a little bit, because I was just sat there thinking, I think I'm about to throw up. Like the production crew were feeding me Haribo behind.
I mean, that would have been TV gold. Can you imagine that? If Gary Lucy had been revealed, and he was like,
and there's me like,
"It's the Jaeger bombs, I promise." Good. So you weren't sick on Gary Lucy. That's
I
a good.
wasn't sick on Gary Lucy.
Okay, good start. But so were the other celebrities there as well, apart from him?
So for that first one, all of the celebrities other than Liam from Love Island and like Cecily, the girl from Tinder Swindler, because they came later in the series.
Okay.
All the other celebrities there, so you can see everyone other than the person you're opposite.
Got you.
So you can kind of tune into their dates, which is
So was there a fitter celebrity that you wished you could have gone on a date with?
Oh, do you know what? There's probably not one person there that ticked all the boxes. Liam's too young, right? But everything else kind of all right. Other than that, he's boring. Pete, if he was taller, probably would be my.
Who's
sort.
Pete? What sort of celebrity?
Pete Wicks. I think,
Oh, musician?
Yeah.
Is he a musician?
No, it was just on telly. But he doesn't. He doesn't look like the sort of person that's on telly. He's a bit like a pirate sort of. Like,
You like the pirate aesthetic?
oh, he just looked a bit like quirky. Like if he was taller and like less of dick, that probably would be my
All right.
thing.
How many Johnny Depp films did you watch as a kid?
No, but that's basically what we're going.
Yeah.
for, right?
Yeah.
But no, like there wasn't really anyone that like tickle my pickle.
Right. Okay. So your tickle remains unpickled,
Yeah.
and Gary Lucy is now. Before celebrities are dating, how do you find dating in general?
Oh God. It's a slog. It's
Right.
a slog, and I don't date as much as I used to, because you're doing gigs every night, and I feel like that's such a priority in my life, as it probably is in a lot of other comics' lives, and to meet up with someone and potentially like give up a gig slot is huge. So I've got to really feel like there might be something with that person for me to go on a date. If I go on a date with someone and it goes to shit, I'm like really annoyed.
Yeah.
I don't really do it as much, but I go to. So I've been to. Do you know the Thursday?
I've heard of it. Yeah.
Yeah. So me and Monica, of the comic,
Yeah.
we go to quite a few of those,
Okay.
and like they're quite a good laugh.
So
I
what
recommend those.
What are they like?
So essentially, you just get loads of single people.
There's an app called Thursday, right?
App called Thursday, load of single people, and you just throw them into one venue. So it's like, you know, when you go to a club and you're not sure if you want to talk to someone because, like, oh, they might have a girlfriend or they might not be interested. Everyone in that venue is single or supposed to be single. So yeah, it's a massive ego boost. Okay, it's good.
Yeah.
You feel like you're walking into Love Island Villa when you walk through the door.
So-
So everyone's just like, woo.
Because for girls, are you just like being constantly approached the whole time?
Yeah, pretty much. But also you feel like you can go and talk to blokes if you want to.
Yeah.
Because it's that environment. It's less intimidating because everyone in there is supposed to be single.
Yeah, exactly. It's not coming out of the blue. It's like, well, that's why we all came here tonight.
Exactly,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So no, it's a good laugh.
Okay, so Thursday's good, but dating in general. So you wouldn't have described yourself as like, because I remember when I was living in America,
Yeah.
I will say this: dating in London compared to dating in New York is radically different.
In what way?
Oh, they're like professionals.
Oh, really?
Yeah, well, they start dating at like 14, 15, like just going out for coffee, going out for a walk or whatever. It's very normal just to meet someone for like an hour and a half. Like that's a date. And
Okay,
you sort of you build up like I feel like in the UK we put so much pressure on
No,
dates.
we do.
It's like-
if someone met me for an hour and a half, I'd be really offended. I'd be like, "What? Like,
Yeah.
what? Like, why aren't you carrying this?"
I mean, in New York you would like line up like you might see someone early and then someone
Really?
late. Yeah.
Oh my god.
because especially if it's a
God,
first
they've got
date.
time slots. No.
100%, and people be open with you. Like
Wow.
a nice person, a mature person will be like,
Yeah.
"This has been really fun. I'm actually meeting a friend or I'm meeting someone later." But I think in this country, will you tell me if I'm wrong? I think in this country, a date is basically us saying, "Oh, we think we should be in a relationship, and we're going to test this out tonight."
Yeah. No. Essentially.
Right?
Yeah. Right.
And that's too much pressure.
No, it is a lot of pressure, and that's why we get absolutely smashed normally on most days.
100%. Like we just get drunk in proximity often enough to try and have
Yeah.
kids eventually.
Yeah, like, did you ever do a date in lockdown when it was walking and sober? My God.
I actually dated because I moved back from New York back to
Right.
Leeds during my visa was up anyway,
Oh.
and I just happened to be during the middle of COVID, so I moved back to Leeds, and I mean I had my flat in London, but it was being rented out, and so I was back at my parents' house for like 5 or 6 months, and an old girl from school
Yeah.
I'd never talked to in like 20 years, but she followed me on Instagram, and she just got in touch and was like, "I think your content's hilarious, and like if you're ever."
That's why we do it.
Yeah, it's 100% why we do it. Just for that one brief moment where you might be in a Richard Curtis romantic comedy.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So she got in touch and she sort of did and I was like, "Oh, well, I'm actually back in Leeds." And we during lockdown, you shouldn't have really been as flirty and interactive as maybe we were. But
Well,
yeah.
that's all you've got for entertainment, really, isn't it? So whatever.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so I never did the full walking weird
Oh,
Zoom.
you're lucky.
How was that?
So many shit walking dates.
Like, what's the crack or what are they?
I mean, I'm lucky. I've got a dog, right? So
Rupert?
Yeah, Rupert. So I can take Rupert out on the dates, and he's also a great excuse if it's
Yes.
going well or bad. If it's going really well, I'm just like, oh, Rupert needs to come home, but come in if you want. If it's going really bad, I'm like, Rupert needs to go home. Sorry, he's done.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's good to have him there. But my God, I just felt like the conversation was so, it really sifted out like who actually can hold a conversation and who's interesting from those who it's only when they have a drink. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, totally.
I found like 99% of them like boring AF.
Yeah, because you've removed the thing British people rely on.
Yeah.
And also, I think the big thing, like, if your date is, if your concept of a date is we're just gonna hang out for an hour and a half, I think you're a lot more natural because you're just chatting,
Well, yeah. Exactly.
like, and it doesn't have an expectation. I
No.
think the way we do it is like, right, we're gonna meet at a bar. There's
Yeah.
a set time.
We've got like 20 questions we need to find out.
It's more like an audition.
Yeah.
It's more like an audition or like a job
really
interview or
is.
something. And I think it makes people too nervous and it makes their chat dry up.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're just like, oh fuck, I'll meet you for a coffee, I'll meet you for a walk, I'll meet you for.
I suppose if you're doing that a few times a week, like they're doing it, it becomes a bit more normal. Whereas I got called a serial dater for literally going on like one date a week.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah. Because otherwise, how are you going to meet people?
No, I know.
Yeah.
It's true. Good.
Yeah.
More dating.
Yeah.
Get out there.
Yeah, and I'm older than you. I'm 38, so yeah, oh yeah.
Blooming hell, I don't really that much older than
Oh yeah, yeah.
Right, God,
I'll give you the skincare routine
Dad.
afterwards. Baby's blood. So I when I date girls, sometimes there's like this weird moment where they've usually been through quite a lot if they're dating at like late 30s, and there's usually a moment where like they grill you quite intensely.
Oh yeah, it'll be like, why are you 38 and single?
Yeah, there's a lot.
Thomas?
Yeah,
Hey, what's wrong with you, Thomas?
yeah, there's a lot of that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that, and I'm just like, oh no, I was like with this person for a long time. I was with that person for a while. Those two things didn't work out. I, don't know, just
a series of unfortunate events.
Yeah. Also, I think everyone's different, but I don't have like an attachment to like having to be in a relationship or anything like that. But yeah, you feel a bit like, oh, this isn't fun. Where's the banter? Where's the frisson? Where's the...
Oh yeah, that's not there. So long.
Yeah, exactly. No frisson, so long.
Yeah, that should be the
T-shirts made.
Yeah, trademarking it right now.
Yeah, exactly. So, right, okay, so I've got a sense of your general dating dynamic. Yeah. So you're now on a date with Gary Lucy. What was... Now, production-wise, do they have him sit down and you walk in?
It varies from date to date.
Right,
so
okay.
I ended up on 5 dates with Gary, which is not what I expected at all. I went in with the expectation that I'm going to go on this blind date and then it's probably going to be like 1, 2 maximum and then that's me done. And I kept getting called back, and I'm just like, it started to feel real. I went literally from feeling like, I was on the phone to my mum after the first date, being like, oh, Mum, I don't fancy him, but he seems nice. So I feel like, how am I going to portray that I might like him, but I don't think I do? Like, this is really awkward because I feel like he was more into me at the start than I was into him. And then it gets to like 2nd, 3rd date. And I'm like, you know what? This geezer is not normally my type. But we had such a laugh. We genuinely had such a laugh. And there's obviously bits they don't show on the show. So they will show maybe 5 to 10 minutes of a date when we film for like 2-3 hours. So there's so much that isn't shown. Like the first kiss thing, right?
Yeah.
That they made us redo that 4 times, right?
Right.
And like
Tashi's like, what?
Literally, they made us redo that 4 times. Not that, I mean, I did blame it on him. I was like, I think you've done this on purpose. Like, you just want to kiss me more times. Like, whatever. But then, like, off camera, then he'll be like, oh, yeah, it's like, I really want to go and take you to the bar now. Let's go to the bar. Production, like, no. You are only allowed to be together, talk together while the camera's rolling. If the camera stopped rolling, we weren't allowed to talk to each other. If he went out for a cigarette, I wasn't allowed to go and join him. So it's not like a normal... It's a normal dating scenario when you're sat down. You don't feel like you're getting filmed, except when the producer is like, oh, can you ask him to do this? And I'm like, no, that's stupid.
Like what? What was a daft request you got?
The worst thing. Like, Sky interrupts the date, and he's like, so... because, you know, Gary's an actor, like, why don't you try and ask him if he can cry on cue? And I'm like, mate, no. I would never ask that in a million years. Like, are you taking the piss? Yeah. And he's like, yeah, like, thanks for saying that. I'm just like, but, like, what, would I do that on a real date? Like, imagine, I don't know, I've, like, matched with someone on a dating app. They just so happen to be, I don't know, like, an actor in the theatre or whatever. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I mean, the date's going so well. What should we order next? Oh, by the way, do you know what would be funny? Do you think you can cry on cue? Like, you would run a mile. So, yeah, they ask you, like, weird stuff like that. But I guess the hardest bit was not being able to talk to them after the date. That's it. They put you in a cab, you go home, you wait for production to tell you, yeah, Gary wants to see you again. They set you up another date.
Do you think, like, you'd have had a different vibe with him if you could have...
100%. 100%. Because obviously, anyone who's watched the show knows that, like, it's quite sweet, actually. He does end up with Laura from another celeb,
right.
Laura Anderson from Love Island. There was definitely a bit of crossover there, for sure. But the thing is, there's gonna be. She's essentially a castmate of his, right? So they're allowed to text each other. They're allowed to speak on Instagram. They're allowed to talk in the smoking area. So you'll build up more of a rapport with the other celebrities than you will with your dates. And if you watch any other series, it's always the celebs end up getting with each other. But surely that's why, right? Because how are you meant to build an actual relationship with someone that they say, no, cut, and then you can't talk to them until like a week later.
So it feels like you're like a stalking horse.
Yeah, it's really bizarre. Like, I think like we got told off for like following each other on Instagram. Like, it's just like,
really?
It's like they're very strict about it.
Well, I guess 'cause if it comes out, if people find out before it airs or whatever, they're like, oh, I know where this is going to go.
Yeah, exactly.
So the iconic, well, for comedians anyway, the iconic thing that went around from your episode was, tell me a joke. Was that something the producers asked him to say to you?
No, so the producers kind of interjected with that a little bit, because he goes to say about telling me a joke, and obviously I'll give it the big eye roll. And there's me being like, I feel like I should get him to, like, because it was the first time I was filming, I didn't really know what I should or shouldn't say. I didn't really know how I was going to come across. And they were just like, no, like, say it, get him to tell us a joke. And I was just like, right, okay. And then he literally, it's the worst thing I've ever heard.
He
Like,
died so hard.
Oh my God, bless him. I mean, I feel bad that I put the pressure on.
But I thought he would have had like a slick way of getting out of it, or like a dad joke or something.
I mean, yeah, he's got banter. Like, Gary has got banter. Otherwise, I don't think I'd have lasted the 5 dates.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, he was very awkward.
Yeah.
It made him very awkward.
Yeah, for anyone who didn't see it,
Yeah.
you just describe for the...
Yeah, so Gary then asked me to tell him a joke.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you're a comedian, like, so I should probably get you to tell me a joke. And I was like, well, like, why don't you tell me a joke? Because I don't know about you when you go on dates, so many people say that, oh, tell us a joke then. My instant reaction usually is, oh, like, what's your job? And if they say, I don't know, like, I work in finance, I'm like, okay, well, do you mind showing me this thing on a spreadsheet right now then? It's like, no, like, you can't just tell someone that's what they do, to just do that in front of you on a whim. It's like, no, not performing monkey, buy a ticket.
Yeah. Yeah. Then wasn't his joke was like, why did the chicken cross?
His joke was just, why did the chicken cross the road? I think it was just to get
to the other side. And the way he delivered it was like,
Lord.
to get to the other side, wasn't it?
It was cringe.
Yeah, but fair play to you. That was like balls of brass to do that on national television.
It's funny because I feel like there were so many funny moments actually that happened that they cut completely. Like loads of little one-liners that in my head I'm like, oh, I can't wait for them to air that, Gemma. That was really funny. And I'm like, where was that, Mr. Producer?
Like
that
what?
So what was he talking about? Yeah, so I remember him talking about when he was younger and he, like, growing up, and he was like, oh, yeah, you know, I was really tall as a teenager. So I was like, okay, he's like, how tall were you? So I was 6 foot as a teenager. And I'm like, how tall are you now? And he's like, 6'1". And just, like, instant comic in me is like, right, so you're a shower, not a grower then, right?
Yeah.
And, like, but all those little things, they wouldn't air it.
And did he laugh?
I was just like, yeah, like, there's so many moments like that.
Yeah.
That I would just be like, right, put down, but in a nice way.
Yeah, of course.
You know what I mean?
Just a little bit of banter.
The banter.
I
feel like the banter got lost in the storyline a little bit.
That makes sense because the producers are kind of like want him to couple up with somebody, so you want to make him seem a bit more heroic.
Yeah, exactly. And they've
more
got to make him seem a little bit less interested because he ends up with someone else and yada yada.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So they've got to create the storyline. They'll chop bits of conversations up.
Yeah. When you went on the 5th date, were you like, I might actually be dating a
I
TV star?
knew I was getting dumped on the 5th
Really?
date. I knew it.
Why did you know? What happened?
Because the date before, where it was when we were in a group with me, him, Laura, and Laura's date, who she'd previously dated. And a girl's instinct just knows when something is wrong, right?
Yeah.
I walked down these stairs, and at that point, I actually was kind of into him. I was like really excited. Like a few days before, like we'd got on really well, like holding hands, and it felt like it was actually going somewhere.
Yeah.
So then 2 days later, me walked down these stairs, and then he's talking in front of me to Laura Anderson about different sex positions. He says that he's got a thing for feet. She's stood there wiggling her toes, and I'm like, what is going on here? Like, what is going on? But you don't want to be like the weirdo psycho girl that says like, I'm sorry, like, didn't mean to interject, but I feel like something's happening. Like, I knew, like, deep down that's what was going on, but I never voiced it. And then we were meant to go on a bowling date next.
Okay.
Right? So I get prepared for this bowling date. 24 hours before, producers like, oh, you're not going bowling anymore, you're just going for drinks. Right, so it seems a bit fishy there straight away.
It's like getting broken up with by somebody's dad.
Right. So changed my outfit, changed my whole like idea of what I thought was happening. And usually they'll sort of tell you where you're going, show you the menu. I found out that this venue was being filmed above an Honest Burger. Okay. And I'm like, I'm sorry, but creatively, if you're going on a 5th date and it's going well, you don't sit someone above an Honest Burger, right? Just so happened to be, this was also the same day the Queen died.
Okay.
Right?
A lot going on in your life.
So I'm in a cab, right? I feel like I know I'm about to get dumped. The cab driver starts crying because they announced the Queen's dead on the journey.
He started crying?
Filming. Cab driver started crying.
Can we just pause on this for a second? So, is he, what sort of man is he? Oh, an older guy?
Slightly older guy.
Yeah. Like British, like Keith, British?
No, not a British kid. Oh, I don't actually know.
Just
how
like,
to describe him.
But a gentleman of a certain age.
Yeah, like British African man. I
Yeah,
guess.
sure, yeah.
But very gentlemanly.
Yeah.
Like
That's so sweet, actually.
He was really sweet.
Yeah.
He was very quiet the whole journey, and then had the radio on, and then all of a sudden it announces that Her Majesty has passed away, and he just bursts into tears. You could tell he was trying to hold it back, and yeah.
So not a quiet sob, like a full on.
Like full on sob. Bless his. And I felt so. I didn't know what to do. I was just like, oh, Queen's dead. I'm about to get dumped whilst being filmed. What's going on?
Where do they rank in your mind?
Right. Well, yeah. But thing is, because I also wanted to try and dress a little bit nicer. I'd be like, no, show him what he's missing. Right. So I had on this like tight, small blue dress. Get out of a cab in the pouring rain. Everyone's just been told the Queen's died. I walk out like I'm about to go to like Aquaman Clapham on a night out, right? And people are thinking like, what is this girl doing? Like, it looked so disrespectful. Go into filming, sit down. Obviously they can't show this bit, but first thing me and Gary do is like, right, so Queen's dead. And then they have to film that scene where he like breaks up with me, and it's just like the weirdest day of my life.
Yeah, that's wild. That's a lot. There's a lot happening in one day.
It was a lot. Yeah. So I say that my pride died the same moment
as the Queen. Funny. That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. That's really great. Are you doing bits about this on stage now?
Yeah. Just because obviously I wasn't allowed to do it before because it was filmed.
September.
So, October, September, whatever. And it aired in December. So I wasn't allowed to say anything about it for a long time, and now I can actually air it out.
Do you think of it as like a fun experience in your mind?
Oh no, absolutely. It's still a bit stressful.
Yeah.
It's like you do then start to feel like you're actually dating someone, and then also the stress of not knowing when you're going to get called. And I went from being up and down Edinburgh and like filming for London, and then coming back to my real life job, and then having to kind of make up why I needed holiday. Like, oh, sorry for this last minute holiday, but it's my nephew's birthday. Do you know what I mean? Whereas actually, I'm going to meet Gary Lucy, and I can't tell anyone. So it was just very bizarre.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine, because a dating show it is that weird duality of like, this could be a real part of my life.
Yeah.
Like, I could date him in real life. When the cameras stop rolling, I could be dating him.
Well, exactly. And I never went into the show thinking that. Like, I obviously just went into it thinking, do you know what? This will be a laugh. It'll give me some good material. It's a little bit of good exposure. And then somewhere between the middle of that, I was like, oh, shit. No, I shouldn't be allowed to feel like, oh, I might like him, actually. But then you just have to pull yourself away from it. Like, my friends who did know were just like, no, like, remember why you're doing this. Like, it's literally a television show. Just like, bring yourself back down to earth. Yeah.
I was surprised by it. It didn't seem like they took you guys to like super nice places.
3 of them were quite posh.
Okay.
What they didn't show in one of them, like our third date was really posh, and that's when things started heating up and everything. But I'm a really fussy eater, and I ate Greg's before I went because I didn't want to eat any of their posh food.
Wait, what was
they
what was
cut
your,
this from the edit.
what was your Greg's order before you went?
What's that? It was a pizza slice and like a bacon turnover.
That is aggressive. Gemma's from Peterborough. That is aggressively Peterborough.
Peterborough, right? So then when I sit down, he gets out the menu. He's like, "What do you want?" I'm just like, "Oh, I'm really sorry. I didn't think we were having food. Like, I've actually just stuffed myself with Greg's before." So he orders this plate, and I just end up having a bowl of chips just to be polite. And it's really like, it's awkward but funny. But we had a chat for about half an hour about me eating Greg's. But in a posh, really posh restaurant, actually. I
think posh places are the worst place for dates.
Yeah, no, I don't like it. It's too much pressure.
Too much pressure. Too much pressure. Like, the culture of, like, I think especially younger finance guys love, like, oh, mate, I can get us in here.
No, like, I don't care, mate.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care.
The best place for a date, you tell me what you think. I think the best place for a date is like, and Tash, if you have an opinion on this, chime in. Is you want somewhere you can talk, so like if it's a bar, nothing too loud, pretty low lighting, like cozy lighting.
Yeah.
Anyway, nothing like you don't
Yeah.
but like strip lighting, no studio lights, ideally, and somewhere where you can feel like comfortable and fun.
Yeah. And maybe
relaxed.
it's got like a little activity, even if it's got, I don't know, like ping pong at the end of the bar or something that you can.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And like, or like for me, like my ideal date, well, I would say second date, 'cause she wouldn't do it straight away. It's just like playing Scrabble and making a fort in like the living room. And then that's like, I've done that maybe like once or twice. And they've been like my favourite dates.
I'm intrigued how you go from Scrabble to the fort. 'Cause I'm all in on Scrabble or the fort. But how do you go from Scrabble to the fort?
Well, I don't know. I guess once you've like finished Scrabble, then like, oh, let's put a film on, but also let's make a fort to watch the film.
It's quite a bold move going for second date. Would you invite him to your house, or would that
It
be like?
depends how well the first one went.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
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 But second or third. But this it's my favourite type of date.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just because it's like it's fun and like I enjoy like you squish the sofas together and then I've got like a like tall lamp.
Yeah.
A tall lamp in the middle. Then you
Yeah.
put duvets over it and you
Yeah.
feel like a big kid again. It's so much fun.
Yeah, no,
Love it.
I'm with you. Like the cozy third date
Yeah.
is great. I remember my all-time like best third date, or like that kind of date, was a girl I ended up seeing for a long time in New York. It was Christmas, like around Christmas,
Yeah.
December. Got back to her apartment. It's Upper East Side, and just as I was getting ready to leave, it started snowing, and she's
That's
like,
cute.
"You can't leave now."
It
It's like I got wingmanned by.
sounds like a Cameron Diaz movie.
Yeah,
Love that.
yeah, it was
You're
delightful.
in your own rom-com.
I was. I mean, to be honest, a lot of New York felt like that. A lot of New York felt like I was in like a little mini. It looks like a film set. The whole thing looks like a film set all the time.
Yeah, that's cute.
Yeah, and you're reminded of things you've seen from movies and films, and especially being British there, 'cause people treat you a bit like
Yeah,
a
I've
mini
been to New York
celebrity.
a couple of times, but literally not since I was 18. So, like 12, 13 years ago.
Yeah.
Jeez, but yeah.
Oh, you should definitely go back.
No, definitely.
Like they're doing shows that's amazing as well.
Yeah.
Like they love our accent and like
Good.
yeah, it goes down really well. But the other thing that your dating story reminded me of was, so he broke up with you fifth date,
Fifth date.
and did he do a good job?
No, not really.
Okay.
He wasn't very, ironically, in an honest burger, he wasn't very honest. So I knew it was coming.
Yeah.
I don't think he thought I knew it was coming.
Okay.
But creatively, just with how I set it up, like the producer was like, "Oh, you never know what's going to happen." I was like, "I do. Just let me get on with it." But I was really nice about it. But I treated it as it was if it wasn't being filmed.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, like he was saying that he wanted to do all these nice things and take me out in Manchester and was like holding my hand, kissed me like number of times, to then literally like his excuse, which I don't think they actually said on camera, or like when it was I don't think they aired it anyway. He said that he didn't feel a romantic connection, and I was like, you kissed me like 6-7 times.
Yeah.
What is a romantic connection?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you hold my hand. Like, so I felt like that was a bit of a bullshit excuse. I knew obviously it was Laura, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I kept saying to production, like, is there something going on there? Have I caught on something? They're like, no, don't worry about it. You guys are really strong.
Oh God.
Obviously that was true. And yeah, I tried to get him to say it. That's why I was like, I feel like the last time I saw you, something wasn't quite right, but I couldn't put my finger on what it was. I could, but I wanted him to just be honest and be like, I think I've met someone else, but he wouldn't say it. And I said I was meant to go on that bowling date instead of a thing. Well, 2 weeks later, it comes out in the papers that, Gary Lucy's being filmed going on a bowling date with Laura Anderson. So I was like, right, there we go. Girls' instinct's always right.
I like that the production company just kept their reservation at the bowling lane and,
I
and just moved it.
I literally, I sent it to my friend. I was like, she stole my bowling day. I was so prepared for that.
So a couple of girls have asked me to take them on bowling dates. What is it with bowling? I would never have thought.
Maybe because I think it's boring-ish, but it's just an activity, isn't it?
Yeah, so
Like, we like activity.
So this is
Have you
what
tried bounce as well.
bounce.
Yeah, it's like table tennis.
Yes, I've seen those. I'll tell you about this from a guy's perspective.
Mini golf.
Right. So I would go on an activity date. I think what is going through a guy's mind most of the time is I have to be really good at the activity. Because if I go on a
Like, oh man.
because if I go on a bowling date
Right.
and I can't bowl, she's gonna think I'm
No,
a
but it's funny.
loser.
No, it's funny.
I think so too.
Yeah.
But I think that would be what would be going through a lot of guys'
Not-
minds.
Oh yeah, fair enough. It's not what's going through the girls' minds. Like, also, little tip: if you do let the girl win, they feel really good about it. Like, just let us win. Just let us win. Like, we want to win. Like, we want that one up. Like, woohoo! Beat you at golf. So, like, you know, if you want to try and turn it up a little bit, just accidentally put the ball in the sand.
Yeah, which I'm because
Yeah,
it's
and
all.
then you might be able to put the ball in the sand.
I mean, Gemma, if it's sand, that's. I mean, there's a gynecologist needs consulting. I think there's bigger issues at play. Because my sister's fiance, that's her partner, he did mini golf with her one of their early dates, and he was competitive as shit.
Oh, right.
Wouldn't let her like retake shots, and was adamant he had to win.
Oh,
On the
but
course.
he might be missing out on.
I think he was just insecure. I think he just thought like.
Actually, I feel like a lot of men think like that, but they don't realise as well. The girl also secretly wants to win. If you let us win, we like, ooh.
Yeah, and surely above everything else, she just wants it to be fun.
Oh no, exactly.
So
Yeah.
whatever
Don't be
creates.
too competitive.
Yeah, so whatever.
No one likes that.
Exactly. So surely whatever creates a more fun vibe.
Yeah.
So if you are shit at, if you wants to play mini golf and you really are shit at it, and you're confident enough to own
Well, yeah.
and make it funny and
laugh, innit?
yeah, I mean, it'd be terrible if she was like, oh, I'm not gonna. I really liked him until I saw him put into through the windmill.
The good thing about those activity dates as well is like I've been on a couple of mini golf dates over the past few years.
Yeah.
And like when I've met someone and I've not really fancied them, you don't feel as much pressure to have such a deep conversation and stuff like that, because you're not sat opposite him having a drink. It's a bit more fun.
Yeah.
So when you finish it, it's like, oh yeah, that was really nice to meet you, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Didn't really feel a connection, but I had a really nice time.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's a bit nicer than, and if it is going really well, like, and you're playing your golf and you win or whatever, and then you can be like, well, why don't we go to the bar next? I don't know. I think it's a nice little,
I agree.
little opener.
Yeah, I agree. This again, less pressure.
Yeah.
Which also led me to another question, which was, is there a good way to that fifth date? That anytime any of us are in that scenario,
Yeah.
is there a good way? If you're gonna give a guy's advice, is there a good?
Yeah, literally, just be honest.
Right.
Because we know when you're bullshitted.
Yeah.
We know when you're bullshit. He didn't want to do it in person. He asked production if they could just phone me up. They made him do it in person. And I would rather hear it from him. Look, actually, I feel like it might have been going somewhere, but I met someone who I just felt like I clicked with a bit more. And then I feel like you're kind of free of your overthinking and everything else, and you can put it to bed. Whereas when we know that you're making shit up, girls will stew on that for a while and be like, oh no, but maybe did he think that, or maybe could I have done this? And yeah, I just think just be bloody honest.
Because I think what guys are worried about is that the girl's gonna get angry, but sometimes it's okay for them to get angry, right?
Yeah.
Like if they're disappointed or upset, that's fine.
Like what? Like I mean, like why? He's a 41-year-old man. Why can't you express your feelings at 41 years old? Like, and just be real. Like,
Yeah.
I just never got it.
Well, I think
You can still be nice about things and be honest.
to be fair to us though. So I remember one scenario. I remember I dated a girl for a little while. It was going well, but I just didn't feel like it was gonna be a long-term thing.
Yeah.
But I could understand why she thought after like a month it was going
Yeah.
super well.
Ah.
So I went for dinner and I said this over dinner. I was like, we've been having a great time. I just don't see it as a long-term thing.
Yeah.
And she got absolutely furious.
Really?
She started screaming at me, started crying.
God.
And I'm sure every guy's got a version of that story where you've been honest or done the right
and
thing.
It's gone the wrong way.
But I would say I think you just have to be like, she's allowed to be angry.
Yeah. No.
She's allowed to be.
Absolutely.
You
Like,
would have, like you said, it's more
you're gonna
upsetting.
you're gonna be upset. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, put yourself on the other foot. Like, you might not make a scene about it in a restaurant.
Yeah.
But like, you're not going to be like, oh my god, yeah, I'm like so excited. I mean, I fist bumped Gary on the way out.
Yeah, that was pretty great.
Well, I mean, I don't know, but I'm just quite a chill person anyway, and I knew
Yeah.
it was coming.
Yeah.
If it was a shock to me, yeah, I might have acted slightly different. Who knows?
Yeah.
But I guess it depends if you can see it coming. But
Yeah.
maybe if you took, maybe you should have just like had a round tip yours to do it. Maybe not, because I guess a restaurant vibe. If she didn't see it coming, like thought you'd been really nice and romantic, and then you just
Well,
go and
yeah.
drop the dump bomb.
Totally.
So-
But I think this is the overthinking guys do. I think women sometimes think guys don't think about anything, like sort of like just blundering through life. But even when you put thought in something, you might pick the wrong option. But I think provided you're trying to be honest, even if they get mad and angry, it's better than, like you said, than being like, I could have done this, I could have done that.
100%.
I wonder if it's this. I wonder if it's because the anger will go quite quickly.
Yeah.
And you move on.
I'm
from that
I'm
quite
literally
quickly.
guilty of that at the minute. Like I met someone very recently actually, and like last week we went on 3 dates in 1 week.
Wow.
That's a lot.
That is a lot.
That's a lot. And even like on the 3rd date, we even said like, don't normally go on 3 dates in a week. That is a lot. And this week we've kind of just said, right, I'll see you on Sunday, whatever, keep it chill. But there's that overthinking, being like, oh my god, like have I done too much too soon? And it's just like, ugh.
Are you familiar with the phrase love bombing?
Yeah, but you're not going to throw a love bomb after 3 dates, like
No, but-
surely not.
No, but some people, it depends on like what your tolerance is for, like, because I've had experiences where people have been like, right, we'll see each other a lot, and then it can sort of come and go quite quickly.
Yeah, so I think we saw each other a lot early on because we got on really well, but also like neither of us had as much on that week. Whereas
Yeah.
I've had a lot more on this week. So is he. So it's just how life works. But yeah, you do sometimes overthink things, don't you? Being like, oh, maybe it's a bit too much. Oh, should it just be
Yeah.
one a week?
I think, like you say, I think the older I get, the more it's just like if you can talk to somebody honestly,
Yeah.
that's just the easiest thing.
Well, exactly. And it's just having that conversation. And we both just sort of realise, actually, I think we just sort of know what we want. Let's just take it as it comes. Just be adults about it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. That's generally easier. And then like it's like I say, being okay with feelings when feelings do come up,
Yeah.
being okay with it rather than being like worried.
Therapy well spent.
Yeah,
Robert.
it is, isn't it?
There we go.
Yeah. And where is he? Andrew, if you're watching, you did a good job, buddy.
Thanks, mate.
Yeah, thanks, mate. I knew you'd come right in the end. So did I mishear you? Did you have something on the way up that you're like desperate to talk to me about?
Yeah. So we were talking about things that annoy us.
Oh yeah. So we're gonna go through what things are annoying you, something you're finding annoying, something you're loving,
Yeah.
and something you're trying, like a new bit. So I feel like you've got a peeve you wanna
Oh, I forgot how much I hated this.
go on.
And right, stupid kids' names.
Okay.
Right, and
You've got a list?
I've got a list of the stupidest kids' names. So are you familiar with Nick Cannon?
Yes.
Right. Have you ever thought to look what Nick Cannon's?
No, but he's got like 9 kids, hasn't he?
I think 12.
12.
Would you like to hear the list of Nick Cannon?
I would love nothing
kids'
more,
names?
Gemma, than to these names.
Right. I'll start with the ones that are less peculiar, and then we'll start going down.
Okay.
Probably the most normal one here is called Zen.
The most normal one, Zen.
Right? No, I'm being
Okay.
Then Halo Marie,
Great.
Onyx Ice Coal,
Okay.
Xeon Mixolydia, and Zillan Hair.
Right.
Right, and now is where we get into the good stuff. So they're like the most normal names.
They're the same ones. Okay.
Then we've got Moroccan and Monroe Cannon.
Mm-hmm.
Then we've got Golden Saigon.
Okay.
Then we've got Powerful Queen.
Just powerful queen.
Powerful Queen. Then we've got Legendary Love.
Right.
Then we've got Beautiful Zeppelin.
These all sound like strains of weed you can buy in Amsterdam.
Or strippers. Right. And my personal favourite, Rise Messiah.
Rise Messiah. Okay, so I've go on. You go ahead.
I was just thinking, like, imagine phoning a call centre. Like, I don't know, imagine phoning, like, British Gas, right? It's like, yeah, hello, British Gas, Golden Saigon. People gonna be like, what the?
Yeah.
Yeah, can I speak to Legendary Love, please? Can you just put me through to, like, what is going on?
So I think that you're setting your kids up for they have to do something cool in life because, like you say, you can't be like,
I mean-
Steve, can you pass like, you can't be like, Zen, can you pass me the TPS reports, please?
I mean, he's got the most normal name.
Or like-
a zillion hair doesn't become a zillionaire.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, what?
So
the
my
bloody hell is going on?
yeah, my nephew's got a big name, and he I always think like you have to be a politician or a porn star or something.
Right. What's
It's Magnus Fox, and his last name's my last name.
I mean, that does sound quite cool.
Yeah,
Right.
okay. Magnus Fox Henry. It
Like
sounds
a magnificent fox.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he's a handsome kid as well. So
Okay,
like,
okay, fair.
but I think he's gonna walk through life living up to his name.
Magnificent fox.
Yeah, he's got magnificent. He's got
Yeah.
magnificent Fox energy.
Yeah.
So are these? Because I know Nick Cannon's got some views on stuff. Like, isn't he big on? In fact, Tash, can we try and Google and see Nick Cannon, one of his kids? Let's see if we can get like a meaning behind Zion, Mixolydia, and Zillion Air, because I think there's like a religious or something connotation.
I think Zillion hair, because it's spelt Zillion space air as in like heir to the throne.
Yeah,
Surely that's just her, like, I don't know, a play on Zillionaire, right?
yeah. Well,
It has to be, but
I think the
I know
problem.
it's Nick Cannon. It's not Elon Musk. Like what?
Well, that's I think that's more the thing. More the thing is like you are not fake. You're not Tom Cruise.
No, that kid was born with $1 bling around its neck. Like,
Yeah.
I swear.
Yeah. So these kids, they're gonna go to like nice schools, and they're gonna go to, they're gonna have a posh life, but not like a Tom Cruise
No.
life. You can't insulate them like Will Smith is. I feel like his kids have just been bred to be.
There's
successful
also
from-
not like 12 of them living in like a cheaper bird dozen house with their dad. That's, they're going to be with the mum that just lucked out with.
We know he's got a bunch of baby different mums.
Like literally
Yeah.
like dozens. But I think Moroccan and Monroe were the first ones. They're the twins that are with Mariah Carey.
Yeah.
So she started this ridiculousness of weird.
But Moroccan and they're like more. I
guess there's fairly.
Monroe's a totally-
Monroe's normal.
Yeah. But I think
Moroccan's questionable. Moroccan Canon sounds like it's a collection of bar stools.
yeah, like a very posh camera.
Yeah.
Introducing for all your photograph
Moroccan
needs.
Canon.
So do you know Nick Cannon's big on depopulation theory?
No, I didn't know this.
So he's like Elon Musk. They both think
Right.
that we're running out of people and we need
Right.
to repopulate.
Oh,
and
God.
yeah,
That's just an excuse to shag around.
totally. Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, exactly. And he's also got some really strange or some very fringe religious views. I know.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
What's his?
I think Tash might be able to Google it so we don't like.
Was it like some Scientology or something like that?
Yeah, it's not Scientology. But
Yeah.
what's Nick? If you like Google like Nick Cannon religion or like Nick Cannon, I think he's like been pretty outspoken about Judaism, like on like kind of like Kanye West Kyrie Irving
Oh,
tip.
God.
Yeah. Do we get anything for the name of his kid?
I couldn't find anything for the name.
Or like where it comes from?
No.
No. Is it if you Google like anything like why Nick Cannon's named his kids the way he has? Because I think there's like because either there's like some pattern to it,
I
or
mean, it's just bizarre. But I mean, come on, powerful queen.
how would you feel if you were like at school?
What would you nickname yourself? Pow?
Yeah, Pow.
Queenie? I don't
Pow.
know.
I think Pow. Well, yeah,
Imagine going to an interview. Yeah, sorry, we need to bring in powerful queen.
that's the best. That's the best. You're going for your like
Like, come
after university or whatever. You're young in your life, entry level job somewhere. I used to work in a call center. That was my like.
Well, I think you're taking the piss on your CV. Powerful queen.
Yeah.
Like,
So Nick Cannon's obviously an extreme example, but what are there any other instances in your regular life where you've seen this happen? You're like, fuck these people.
do you know what brought it on actually was a friend of mine today said they saw like a reality person recently name their new child Peach.
Right.
And I mean, I don't think Peach is horrendous, but it's
Do you prefer other stone fruits?
it's a bit weird. Like, I don't get I mean, what are the registers going to sound like in a couple of years?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like we need a revival of the Sarahs and the Lauras and, nice normal names.
Now let's be honest. 'Cause you're a Gemma, I'm a Tom.
Yeah.
We couldn't get more.
More normal.
Are we just jealous that we don't have cool names?
No, do you know, I wanted a cooler name when I was younger. My mum, like, nearly called me, like, a bit like prettier names like Lily or Rose, or like nice floral names.
Mm-hmm.
Then my dad wanted to just call me Gemma. My mum was like, okay. So I always wanted a slightly better name when I was younger. But now I see this list of crazy,
Yeah.
and I'm so grateful to be a Gemma.
Yeah.
I just feel like the normal names are going to die out.
So that was the thing that was annoying you. Anything?
It's annoying me.
Oh, by the way, do we get a final thing on before I plagiarize Nick Cannon completely?
I have not got anything on why he's chosen to name his kids that.
No.
And religion-wise, I've only got Christianity. Sorry.
Oh.
Okay, I'm gonna Google this afterwards. There's something
There's
up.
something
There's something up with Nick Cannon that I need to. There's in the back of my mind. So what's the thing you've been loving?
loving. I'm not gonna lie. I've been loving the absolute midlife crisis of Prince Harry.
Okay.
It's been providing me with so much entertainment.
Midlife crisis. I haven't thought about it like that.
You
but
know,
it is,
you don't
isn't
think
it?
he's having a midlife crisis?
I mean, it's a great angle. It's a great
I think he's
take.
having
Yeah.
a massive midlife crisis.
Yeah.
But I'm so invested in this.
Go on.
Like, it's provided me so much entertainment.
Yeah.
Have you seen any of the clips going around yet?
Oh, I've seen the Todger and
Yeah, the Todger bit is probably my favourite. Put
Yeah.
Elizabeth Arden cream on his dick.
Yeah.
But then also saying that his mum used to put that on her lips, and then he's talking about putting it. I just think it's very.
Because I thought that was a deep fake.
No,
Honestly, when I first heard it, I was like, someone's mugged him off.
No, I think. Well, I think that's real.
Yeah.
But I've gone and got myself the book, so I need to deep dive into this. Like,
Yeah.
I'm kind of invested in the breakdown, but also just like him and Meghan in general. It just gets weirder and weirder. I feel like he's the new, not in terms of like the badness of Donald Trump, but just in terms of like the bizarre, like you know, what the fuck is going on? Because you see, like, there's this clip of her being like, "Oh, Beyonce just texts me. She thinks that I've done so much good for XYZ." And you're like, what kind of like he's turned the royal family into like EastEnders.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing I find interesting about it, so I think he's within his rights to do whatever he wants. And
100%.
the thing I find strange about both of them is the thing of like, I want to be left alone just whilst I get as much publicity as possible.
I get him wanting to share his story, and I feel like if his book had just been about like the deceit and everything with the royal family and things about that, but he's talking about his dick so much.
So much. Also, Todger?
I know.
Todger?
He changes it. Like, doesn't he? He goes from calling it a Todger to actually calling it a penis. And then, like, I'm pretty sure his poor friends back at high school didn't fancy their dicks being talked about being circumcised or not in his book.
No. And what do you call it? Roundheads versus Cavaliers? That was like
Sorry,
the thing.
but what?
And he says it like it was good crack. Like, that's
No, that's really strange.
you bunch of nerds. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. The
I've
thing.
got there. Do you want?
Oh yeah, go for
I've
it.
got Powerful Queen.
Yeah.
So that was just because it was just before Christmas. I don't know why that. It was nothing but powerful. Merry Christmas, thank you God, is what was on Insta. The powerful experience and the timing of it, all made for the unique name. When we certainly don't hear every day. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's why they chose it.
Great.
wow.
Great.
I mean,
do you know what
reasons ever.
we're talking about honesty? We're talking about directness.
Oh, do you know what that reminds me of? If you've seen, you know, those memes where it'll be like a dad in the car with the son, and the son's like, "Oh, like Dad, why did you call Rose Rose?" And like the mum's like, "Oh, because your mum loved roses." And he's like, then the dad's like, "Oh yeah, thanks." Like, whatever, drink ticket, like open mic drink ticket or whatever it is, and that's just what it reminds me of, just like the ridiculousness.
Yeah.
I just can't.
So you know when Prince Harry's book was getting made, right?
Yeah.
So there must have been at least, what do you reckon, 5, 6, 7 people who read it?
God,
It's like there's an edit. I mean, I'm talking about professional people, like
No, of
editors, publicists, agent. And you think,
who's qualified? Do you think they just sat there thinking like, "Oh, this is gold"?
it's exactly what I think happened.
But also you'd think some kind of welfare professional, or just someone might have thought, "Harry, before you publish this, do you want to have a chat with someone?
Yeah.
Do you think that actually maybe you just need to speak to a therapist about this?" we hear a good Aussie. He's quite
Yeah, yeah,
into that.
exactly, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Let's get him in, talk about your feelings to him. He'll sort you out. No, thank you. I'll put it in a book.
Well, because this is the pretty dark bit, I think. Is like,
Yeah.
if you're going to talk about Todgers and equating the cream you put on your dick to the cream your mum used to put on her lips, and connecting those two things and being so unaware, so
Yeah.
unself-aware, you're like, buddy, do you think you might have some
Like-
unresolved feelings about your mum?
No, I know,
that-
right?
Because she died when you
Exactly,
were young,
he so clearly does. But also, I'm invested in it for the material. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. Well, this is
Every comedian right now is like, get me that book.
well, I think
Like,
yeah. I mean, that's the thing, isn't it? Because it's like a car crash we're all watching in real life. But all I can think is like somebody at some point, the fact that no one's gone, like, ooh, Todger is mentioned a lot. Lotta Todger. Maybe 7 mentions. Just take it down to 7. Take it down to 7 Todgers.
yeah.
We'll leave it at 7
This
Todgers.
is the frostbite on the. Oh God.
And then the Taliban thing's wild.
Yeah, like he's.
Don't stir that up again, Harry.
I know.
What are you stirring that up for?
He needs to go into hiding. I like surely
Yeah.
the Taliban's gonna be after him now.
That's what I would have thought.
Like-
I thought it's like when someone texts me like, mate, you'll never guess he's been talking shit about you.
It's almost like he's written the longest suicide letter ever. Like, do you know what I mean? Essentially what it is. There we are.
Yeah.
Find me. I'm
So
done.
400 pages or so. And then lastly, is there a bit you're working on at the minute? Anything you're trying?
Well, not a bit per se, but there's a sketch that I want to eventually do. Because I think it'd be really interesting to have, like how we are on social media. Like everyone's a bit different on social media, but putting that into a real life situation. If we act on social media, how we do in real life. So you'd have like a girl sat in a coffee shop with a Starbucks, right, with a little classic pose. And then just like a queue of people like throwing paper hearts at her, and then like guys being like, "Oh yeah, flames, girl, flames! You're like on point, you're on fire." And then just like a random guy in a suit comes up and he's like, "Do you know what? I can make you $100,000 in a week on crypto."
Oh, it's very funny.
Like, so basically the comment section, but in real life.
That's very funny, yeah.
Or you'll get like a troll come out from behind the coffee thing and be like,
Not that fit.
"Yeah,
Yeah.
do you know what I mean?"
Like, yeah.
But I think I would just quite like to see that as a sketch in real life, because I think how we are in social media, it's just like, you'd never act like that in real life. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's great. That's really funny.
But
Yeah.
something a bit different. I've not
Yeah.
really done sketch stuff for a while.
Yeah.
At all.
How do you feel about making sketches online compared to... Because I'm terrible at it.
Yeah, I do a few little bits, like the TikTok-y type stuff, but I think it'd be quite nice to involve with the comics and stuff eventually.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I had in mind for this. Get a few people together,
Yeah.
see how it goes.
Whoever you cast in the troll role is going to be super effective.
I know, right? Excuse me, mate.
Yeah.
I've had this idea for a sketch.
Yeah.
Perfect casting. It's
Yeah.
great for the troll.
And your first guy, just the first guy who popped in.
Imagine.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. No, it's great. It's really funny.
Yeah.
Really funny. The other thing, just when we're out of time soon, but like, do you remember the thing I shared you on Instagram about the Una Healy,
Oh
David
my
Hay thing?
god, that weird threesome.
Yeah, Tash,
Yeah.
have you seen this?
I have not seen it.
So David Hay, the boxer,
Yeah.
is involved in a throuple
Yeah.
with his girlfriend and Una.
I think they're both girlfriends, right?
Oh, both girlfriends.
Yeah.
So he had his main squeeze,
Yeah.
and it's now been added to by Una Healy from the Saturdays.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So they posted these pictures on Instagram. He put one up and she put one up with this really weird cryptic, like
Very bizarre. They're
self-help,
They're both there.
like this weird self-help language, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
Of
really
like, I'm
strange.
finally living my truth.
It's as if she'd like, I don't know, been to Bali, rode an elephant, and been like, do you know what? I need to be in a throuple with David Hay.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
or that was the excuse.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That was the thing. I was thinking, is he just that good in bed? Is that?
He's not attractive to me in the slightest. No, I wouldn't even be just with David Hay, let alone share him with another woman. Like, no, thank you. Like, no.
That is a hell of a put down.
I know there are a lot of women that would quite happily join that and make it a foursome, but no, I don't even want him on his own.
Because that's the thing. Like, she's a celebrity in her own right. She's got her own
I
money.
think she's got kids.
And so is he.
Right? Oh my god,
That's
that's weird. No, imagine being the children of this.
That's the first thing I thought. First thing I thought was like, because she's got kids with a rugby player called Ben Foden.
Yeah.
And the first thing I thought was like, imagine your daughter's like, it's Dad's weekend, and she's like, Daddy, what's Mummy doing? And you're like, well, sometimes when a man loves a woman, he also loves another woman.
But like, she writes country. She does country music.
Yeah.
As well. So when she left the Saturdays, she does country. So like, I've met her a few times, and I'm thinking, what song is she gonna write next? Like, what is she gonna write a song about being in a throuple with David Hay? Like,
Yeah.
How do you write a love song like that? What does that look like?
Yeah.
Like,
That's wild. Well, when have you met her?
so like a country to country festival and like other country, because I used to write country music.
She's a big
So-
Swiftie.
Yeah, big
Yeah.
50. Used to write country music for like other UK country artists. So I've met her a few times at those festivals, and she never I mean, this game was a shock to me. She just seemed like the most like very sort of under the radar,
Yeah.
lovely down to earth girl. It's always the ones that you don't expect, isn't it?
Yeah. This is like definition of dark horse.
Whoa.
Yeah. Because it's not like these photographs. She's like preening.
Yeah. No. She's like showing him off.
Yeah.
It's like she's just bought a new Louis Vuitton handbag.
Yeah.
And then the other girls like the Prada shoes. Like, that's the vibe I'm getting. Like hashtag ad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. It does. It looks very much.
Right.
It looks very much like she is yesterday's news.
Yeah.
And Una Healy is like. Because I would have thought in a throuple situation, surely someone has to give. Surely.
I mean,
Can you ever-
they're clearly both the girls are also into girls. Otherwise,
Yeah.
I mean, this isn't going to work. Like, you're not just going to take it in turns. I'm sure that's not how it works. Okay, over to you now, Una.
Yeah.
Okay, now over to you. Like, no. I just can't see it lasting. Can you? What
No.
weird.
No.
I mean, 2023, we've got Prince Harry talking about his penis multiple times. This throuple, like, what's next? I thought we'd had the weirdest years over, but apparently not.
So do you think do you think years are getting weirder, or do you think because of the internet we just anything weird happening? Like, do you reckon there was loads of weird shit happening in
Maybe
in
that's
1967, but they were like, we've only got
wasn't
half.
reported.
Yeah, we've only got half an hour on the news.
Yeah, do you know what? That might be true.
Yeah.
Or maybe they just chose not to report. I don't know. Or maybe the internet's made us weird. I think the internet's made us weird.
It's hard to tell. I mean, I remember because I freelance during the days,
Yeah.
for advertising stuff. So I work with a lot of people who work from home, and I had a situation the other day. I was on a Zoom call, and I was like, for the last 2 years, pretty much everyone I've talked to has just been like Winnie the Pooh in it,
No, 100%.
and no one's mentioning it.
No, 100%.
And if you'd have told me in 2019, adults would talk to each other for long stretches of time in kind of like just their pants and a t-shirt,
shirt.
I'd be like, that you would class that as psychotic behaviour.
No.
So ma-
But we're still doing it.
We're still doing it.
I think that every human being deep down has that bit of them that is like Hugh Grant in Love Actually, where it's like, woohoo! I think we're all like that, but I think society's just tried to confine us into these little machines. But yeah, maybe we're just allowing ourselves to be our own little dancy Hugh Grant now. Maybe that's what it is.
This is the self-help the self-help movement we need
Yeah.
is be your own Dancy Hugh Grant.
Be your own dancy Hugh Grant.
If you don't write that as a book,
Yeah.
I think that's a travesty.
Yeah.
And
I
the
know,
world.
I will work on that.
I can just see the jacket. Just be your own Dancy Hugh
Yeah.
Grant. The real question we need to answer though is what would David Hay and Una Healy's kid be called?
Oh my God, what a question.
They can't have powerful queen. It's taken.
No, they can't have powerful queen.
Yeah.
Like, maybe like titanium, something.
Titanium.
So maybe like something that he's like, what's like a medal that you can win in like the boxing stuff?
Right, yeah. Like championship titan. That could be a
Yeah,
name.
there we are. Something like that.
This is okay.
But who's having the child?
Well, yeah, exactly. Because if it's David and Una's,
Yeah.
then championship titan. I think we need
there
to.
we go.
So next time you see her, just be like, I've got a little suggestion for you.
I've got a really good name
Yeah,
that you can call your next child.
have it for free.
Yeah.
Don't need to thank me. Thank me later. Thank me later. It's fine.
That.
This has been an absolute delight. Tell the people where they can find you on the internet.
So you can find me at Gemma Louisianna on Instagram and across the circuit in London and wherever else I may go.
Gemma, been an absolute delight. Tash, thank you so much.
Thank you for coming.
This has been another episode of Tom and Jack having the crack. We'll see you next week. Cheers.
Bye.
Tom and Jack having a crack. Tom and Jack having a crack. Tom and Jack